So I would like to ask you, maybe you'll start because you were the last one and we still want to hear your voice. How did you get the idea to start the organization?
Well, is this or getting a master's in psychology? Oh, I got to stand up. Oh, yeah.
If you need it.
That's all right. I know how to use one of these. That's also a woman thing. You give them a microphone and they go, okay, no, you want to be heard. As a teacher, this doesn't work very well. As someone who trained in co-ed martial arts, what does co-ed martial arts mean? 20 men and me. We would get very excited when another woman would walk in the room and it was like, yeah, no, not going to stay very long. And then I became a teacher. And I saw these girls who really, really loved it. And they would do it at 5, 6, 7, 8. They would get to 10, 11, 12. And the peer pressure of it's not feminine would kick in. And they would let go of this piece that they really loved. And then we saw adult women coming back who had stopped at 12 years old and said, I don't know why I stopped. And so we brought together a bunch of women martial artists and we said, well, if we're women teaching women, maybe more will come. Within a year, it was clear to us that what women in the streets want is practical, short-term. I don't want to spend my life learning martial arts. I need practical tools for day-to-day living, and that's what we went for. I myself am a 4th-degree black belt in judo. It is my life and my passion, and I love it. But not everybody wants to dedicate 30 years to learning martial arts. We would love it if you did, because there's so much more you can get out of it. But that's why we started.
Thank you. Odelia, would you like to tell us how did they start? How did they get the idea?
Take the microphone.
No, she's going to give you a better one.
Let's try. I have 3 daughters, and my oldest one is now in Chicago, and she gave birth to a baby boy. So I'm a fresh grandmother, as we said. I hope she'll come back to Israel to enjoy this boy. My youngest daughter, she's 26-year-old now. I thought she was very smart. She was cheating in cards when she was 3 years old. She used to hide the high numbers under her skirt and always win. So I really thought she was smart, but I felt something was wrong with her when she studied. And I'm a lawyer by profession. I used to work for a hospital as a legal counselor, so I'm not from the educational field at all, but I felt something was wrong. And I used to keep calling the school and say, you know, something is wrong with Daniela. And they used to tell me something is wrong with you. She got straight A, everything was great. She was already on the 3rd grade, but I realized something was wrong with her because she didn't go to parties, her friends didn't come. I felt something was wrong. And then one day, I realized something is wrong with her reading. And I called to the teacher, and it was the 3rd grade already, and the teacher called me in the afternoon and she told me, you know, at least you have to take your daughter to evaluation. And then I took her to private evaluation, which cost in Israel $1,000. So only, it's very, very difficult to afford it, and you have to renew it every year. And then the woman told me that Daniela can't really read and write. So I started to take remedial teachers to help her, and now she's doing great. I mean, but she got 4 times a week remedial teaching, which costs in Israel around $70 per hour. So can you imagine for children whose parents, normally they can't afford it. And when I went to Harvard when I was 43 years old to do my master's degree. I took my daughters with me. My husband stayed in Israel because he had to support the family. And I took my daughters with me and I put them in a public school in Brookline, and where I lived. And I saw that the school takes care of everything, evaluations, and they pulled Daniela out from the class during day school because in Israel they have everything private, you get nothing. They pulled her out and they gave her all the help she needed during school hours. And there was a special teacher who met her every day. She even spoke Hebrew. And I thought it's a great idea to do it at school hours, under the umbrella of the school. So when I got back to Israel, I went to a school near where I live. I live in a small place called Savion. I went to Or Yehuda, which is a poor area, and asked the teacher, do you want me to create an organization that will hire a media teacher to help your children? She said it's a great idea. I just didn't realize it takes a year to create such a non-profit, to get tax exempt, both in Israel and in America, and that people won't give you any money if you don't have it. So I told her, you know, in the meantime, until it happens, would you like some volunteers to come and help your children? We are not teachers qualified, so just don't give us children with special issues. She said, yeah, I need help in English, because I'm the second in the national testing, but from the bottom. You know, this is Middle Israel, 15 minutes drive from Tel Aviv, 5 minutes from where I live. So I took some of my girlfriends, some of them are Medalia from America, some of them from, and we went to basics, to elementary school. We took the non-readers. And you know, these women were so creative. They invented games, they bring the globus to teach the child about other countries. And by the end of the year, by their methods, not, one of them is here, Sharon, she was one of my volunteers, they managed, and by the end of the year, the school, the school manager told me, you have to bring me more volunteers next year for math, Hebrew, Bible, English, just whatever. So I started advertising. I mean, I went to the grocery shop, to the country club, and wherever I went, to gym classes. I asked, do you want to give 2 hours of your time to a child next door? And then people started to address to me and to say, do you have a child for me? I want to teach physics in high school, you know, so I started to look for clients. So this was the beginning. So idea came to me both from my personal problem, from my experience in America, and from the goodwill of people, you know. And right now I have 1,500 volunteers. Thank you very much. Who go every week to a school to meet their own children. We managed to teach 3,500 children. And I have remedial teachers who go to the school and help 200 children who are non-readers on elementary school and teach them how to read and write. I saw somebody here.
When you were discussing this before, you were talking about class size throughout the country.
Yeah, this is the rule. Yeah, this is the rule everywhere. But in Tel Aviv, parents, most of them, you know, I have 3 daughters and they're talented, they're normal. I mean, they're no genius, but they're okay. They all got private tutoring. It's not enough what you get in the Israeli educational system. If you want to be accepted to university, the competition is terrible. You know, my 28-year-old wanted to study psychology, clinical psychology. She had to make 3 times the test in order, and I gave her private tutoring in math, English, Hebrew, and she was an excellent student.
Our communities, in our towns, in our supports of education, that we have class size, but our administrators or our parents
We can't hear you. Maybe give the microphone.
our boards of education to limit the class size. And I'm really rather appreciative.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. You would think that the best way to elevate the communities on the periphery and communities in the bigger cities would be to advocate to limit class size to higher education.
Beyond our
So this
scope.
is the next initiative. Here's a great initiative to eliminate the class numbers.
Okay, thank you. We'll open it to questions in a minute because we would like to ask you, Liora, what impact do you feel you have had? Stand up, please.
When we entered school and we changed the education system and it's become one of the best in the city, even though the neighborhood is very weak, good people and strong people are coming to live in the city, and it changed the whole community. So not only the teachers, the principal, the students are impacting from this, but the whole neighborhood and Israel after all. We are now acting in 19 schools all over Israel, in 10 cities, and we hope to
grow.
To make more impact in Israel. Thank you.
Okay. So now about skills. We'll open it to a question in 5-10 minutes, okay? About skills. What skills have you brought, not only the martial, you developed or brought or involved in what you are doing?
So I think one of the most important things that I've done in the last couple of years is I got my MBA. And I made the decision to get my MBA, which to me is a black belt in business, because I realized that as a philanthropist, I need to understand how to manage money. I need to understand how to manage business. I need to understand how to go in and look at my nonprofit and help with other nonprofits on how to better, more effectively, efficiently reach sustainability and scalability. And I know these are all buzzwords, but they're really very important, because if we want to make global change, if we really want to make the world better, then we have to look at how we can use our resources in a much better way. So I think that was the...
Okay, since I saw so many hands, so we'll open it to questions. And my question I'll ask later, privately. So this you have here in...
Ishakar, wonderful experience to listen to you. It's on kind of the reverse side. My kids live in Modi'in, and they're at a school where there are 50% Olim who don't speak Hebrew. And there's no funding for these kids to learn Hebrew properly, so the standards in every grade have dropped. Do you have any suggestions on how that can be helped? They've done programs where they try to bring the grandparents who live in the States or somewhere else to give money for additional funding, but it's not forthcoming, and the school district Jewish agency provides the 6 months of full time, but the parents feel they can't put their kids in Ulpan for 6 months because they're missing 6 months of school. It's a major problem.
Maybe by volunteers, I think that the community can help itself. Not everything can be solved by the government.
Principal is not encouraging it.
So it's true that some principals don't encourage it. And I have sometimes difficult to penetrate. So you tend to think that you have a good idea and you have even facts and proofs, and you even was invited by President Perez and get the highest reward, so the gate will be open. But they don't. You have to struggle and show yourself every time. So my suggestion is to continue to try to convince the principal to accept help from the outside to help these children.
Maybe I have an idea. I know it's not I'm from a pharmaceutical company, but I have an idea. Maybe you should talk and take back with you Odelia's system, push system, and then you can talk with facts. You have the facts in Israel out of place that it happened, and it became really a good system, and now you can show it in your community, so maybe it will convince.
I just want to add, we had some problems like this in Israel. So, as an outsider, I just came and offered the principal 2 hours every day to continue teaching And it's 2 more hours every day for those children. And it costs me in Israel, it's 70 nis per hour, and that's it. So,
Okay.
good luck.
All like abroad.
Because really, children and education are the future.
You have to put close to you.
No, it wasn't on.
Waste time.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is we in our communities work hard, we try to be as generous as we can be and to inspire others to give. And we're always looking for projects, objectives, goals that inspire us. And to me, this is very inspirational. And I'm not quite sure how to word this or structure it mechanically, but I'd like us to be able to take these projects back to our communities and say, this is where our dollars should go. Give more, whether we do it at the governmental level to help the government to reduce class sizes, or whether we do it at the volunteer level. So to me, this is really worth giving for and working for, but I want to take this message of the need and the services and the work we're doing back to our community.
This is wonderful, really. Thank you so much. Now I understand why I drove all the way from Israel to here.
I have a
So,
just question. Because you have a Ministry of Education, if you could structure one program, each one of you talk to this, that we should be looking at funding, like where should the emphasis be for it? Because you can't fund every program, but we're funders.
I'd just like to say something. The government cannot take money. Okay, you cannot fund, American money cannot fund government.
no.
But Sharon, I have the honor of sitting on the Committee for the Advancement of Women and Gender Equality in the Knesset. And I've been doing that for the last 3 years. So a lot of these arguments I hear very frequently. Sometimes you need to understand the ramifications. So like the original question about classroom size. You reduce classroom size by 1 child, bring it down from 41 to 40, and all of a sudden you have to double the classrooms and double the teachers. So, because now you have 41 kids and you're only allowed 40, you're going to end up with a class of 20 and a class of 21. So where do you make that decision? These are huge budget issues that have to be dealt with. One of the there's been a movement to get the government to take responsibility. Many of us decided that instead of trying to steer the ocean liner, we're going to get the tugboats out and start doing the work. And you got to look for programs that can show you that there is efficiency, effectiveness, and the ability to really reach out and do. The government, yes, has to take responsibility, but if we wait for them to do it, not my grandchildren and not my great-grandchildren.
So maybe
Just the day before I came, I was invited to the Ministry of Education. I had a meeting with the one that's responsible of all the pedagogic
אני כל כך לא מאמינה בשיתופים וכל השטויות
האלה. She knows exactly what we are doing. And I wanted her to be a part of our organization, to help with guidance or something. She said, listen, I have so many schools, I want you to help, but please find the fund. So that's it. That's it.
We can all help you do that.
I'm glad that the conversation is going in that direction because that's what I wanted to ask you. My name is Kate Dunn from Boca Raton, Florida, and I have the privilege of serving on the Jewish Women's Foundation. And we get, this past year we got at least 60 grants, requests, mostly from Israel, from organizations like the ones you represent and many others. And we have a very hard time looking through the weeds to figure out which ones are deserving of our money. So we need connections with people like you to tell us which ones are really taking our money and using it, and which ones just sound good on paper, but they're not
לא, תני לסיגל לענות, תני לסיגל לענות.
I have a second part to that. And one of my goals this past year as chair of that committee is to make sure that the people on the board of organizations like yours are at least 50% women. Because initially when I started, I saw these grants, and the way they have to list who's on the board and who's working. Well, all the worker bees were women, and mostly all the people on the board are men, maybe one token woman. And I said to my group, I said, we're a women's foundation. Why are we giving money to help organizations where we're just promoting women? I want women entrepreneurs to be involved like yourself.
Here you are.
Wow, that's a great two questions. So I'll answer the second one. In these three cases, I think you are all women on board. Maybe you have one man.
I have
One, yeah, that he works very hard for her. Yeah, I know in very chance. But for your question, I think Israel, Line of Judah, could be a very good partner because we can help you to look at the Israeli project because we also looking and evaluating the project. And actually, where is Sarah Leoren? Stand up for a moment, please. She's our project committee chair. She's the chair of the project committee, the Israeli one. And if you want, we can have a meeting during this conference and to talk how we can, I think this is the most important for us to build this bridge between different federations. And so, yeah, about Miami. We have, I said it before in the plenary, like Miami Federation. So yes, they have a mission, a professional mission to come to Israel and to sit together and we talk. And actually, we don't know everything. We learn from them a lot, from you a lot. And we decided to support together at least one project. So it will be great to have this connection between us, not only hi, kiss and kiss, but really professional connection between all of us. Even though I like kisses.
Please stand up.
And we are working with the Israeli Lions on some of their projects, and I would urge you to meet with them and talk to them about the projects that they're doing, because they're fantastic, and then you have a direct contact. So that was just my suggestion.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
You are inspiring. I'm sure. Can everyone hear me? You're inspiring. And you make me want to start tomorrow, yesterday, doing something even more. But a question for you. I was so struck by listening to the film, or seeing the film where the woman who clearly is an American, I believe, is saying to the child, that comes from teach, the verb to teach. And we were in Hagiva school in Ofakim for 6 weeks teaching English to 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and then also in Segev Shalom, which is a Bedouin community outside of Beersheba. One of the things that the teachers said was so difficult for them in teaching English was that these children never hear a native speaker. They never hear cadence, hear vocabulary choice, and many of them learned, this was a couple years ago, many of them learned their English in both schools, Arab and Jewish, from one direction. And you know, you say one direction, the little girls just go, so what I'm wondering about, and our federation, it's GMW, Greater Metro West in New Jersey, has a very strong focus in the Negev. And I'm wondering about, is there a possibility to think about getting something on a year-long process where it's not funding, you Skype, you had a Skype. Getting grandmothers, mothers, kids, retired people to pick up a child. Exactly. Just follow them through the year. Can we do that? Do I talk to you? Where do we get started? Where we can okay. Because we have people who want not to say, how are we going to spend our funds? How do I get my hands-on experience? That just lit my fires, as it were.
That's amazing. I must tell you that I visited Leora project just to monitor, to evaluate if we want the Israeli Lions to invest or not. And the Skype issue is very interesting because it's getting involvement from both sides. And I see this little 15, 14 years old girl say, hi, my name is this and this. How is the weather there? And this lady from Canada answered how is the weather, and they have an essay that they got from the English teacher, both sides by email, and they read it. And they have to practice, pronunciation and everything. It was great. It was like, and then it's every week for 1 hour, and they get the connection between them until the end of the year. And as one girl told me that this meant that she was Skyping with him, he came to visit Israel, and he came to see her family, and it was a big excitement. So I think this is a great, and this I also offer to the English girls, Louise and her friend, because they thought about 18 years old, that they want to get the young people involved with Israel. So it's not it's also one of the projects that we can think about, but each one of the projects here, involvement is welcome. Yes. More questions.
I think what you're doing is amazing, all of you, and we all know, all of us in our communities, how difficult it is to accomplish systemic change. And what I think we're hearing is that you have the government on the one side, and you have all these schools and teachers and needs, and of course your issue is a little bit different, but it's also systemic. So my question is, just for us to have some context, is there something in common with the schools that are in the most need? In other words, are they the most geographically remote? Is it the population of the people who live there? Is it Ashkenazi, Sephardi, that kind of thing? So it would help us, at least I'm speaking for our community in Philadelphia, we have sister communities in Israel in certain geographic areas. So if you know that the need, where the government funding is not equal, or where is the most need? Is it if you would answer the contextual question. Thanks.
It depends. We cannot say, we are tailor-made every project, because I'm sitting with the principal, and she has her own ideas and her own, movement, and I focus on that. For example, you saw in the movie a part of it, in Ramle, there is a school with the children, Jewish and Arabs together. The violence percent was very high. And I asked her, what is your dream? What are you looking for? What are your expertise? What is your strongest... okay. Yeah? Okay. Not needs. Your stronger desire. And she said, I used to be a science teacher. So I said to her, okay, so let's go for science. So we built a very nice science room. We hired a laboratory, how do you say?
Laboratory technician.
To come every day to be with the teachers, with the students, to make a lot of experience in science. And they are only elementary school, they are not high school. And then we saw the children are so amazed from this, we bought a 3D printer. And then we took the most violent kids to be responsible of the printer. And today, it's amazing. All the children are dreaming about science. We opened them a lot of windows. We started to take them to museums and to bring them more associations that deal with science. We pay for that, and it's amazing. Another school, the teacher wants to do many things, out of the box. So we listen to her dreams, and we help her to build this. So this is my secret. I don't know other.
No, okay. I would like, Odelia, maybe you can give some statistic about schools and about,
First, I wanted really to identify with what you said about when you give money, you have to make sure is this organization doing the mission that is declared this is doing, and I'm also willing to help. This is why I joined also the Line of Judah. You have this that I give up on the back side, you have my details, so you can contact me and I will be happy to about the needy children, I think that they are everywhere. Because even in Tel Aviv, there is integration. They bring children from South Tel Aviv to the wealthiest schools. And you know, children, they always compare themselves to the other children who sit next to them in the same classroom. And they see, they're not stupid. They see what they get. They go abroad, they have Nike, and they have nothing. And the education that they get is much less because their parents, first of all, they are not educated, and they cannot give money to hire private tutoring. So you find these children in need everywhere. As I told you, Or Yehuda is 15 minutes drive from Tel Aviv, and the situation is horrible. So, of course, in the south, in the north, you will find small cities with lots of needy people, but also in the center of Tel Aviv. My sister, you know, when I started PUSH, I thought that I would only work in poor cities. And then my sister, who runs a school in Ramat HaSharon, which is the wealthy area, she told me, why don't you send me volunteers? So I asked, why should I send you volunteers? You work in a rich area. She said, I know the children. In the 41 kids in my classes, she has big classes, I have always 10 kids who are very poor. And they suffer even more than the children who are in poor areas, because then everybody is poor. Me and my sister, we grew up in a place where everybody was poor, so we were happy. We thought we were rich. But when you go to a place that have rich and poor, you have to help these children. The fact that they live in an area which is considered to be rich, like Tel Aviv, or Ramat HaSharon, Ra'anana, Natanya, Rishon LeZion, but it doesn't mean that they have the ability to succeed. So PUSH works in 38 cities. We work in nearly 300 schools. But we go to the school teacher and the advisor and we tell her, find us the kids who need our help. And we trust them, and we are normally proven that they are right. They pick up and we don't pick up the children. The school decides who will get a volunteer, who will get a remedial teacher, and they know what they are doing. So you can find these children everywhere.
Okay, just before we end, or before the question, Judith would like to end.
So I'd like to just address that we're different. We also go into schools. As a matter of fact, we're just taking our program into the Kfar HaNoar Ben Shemen, the Ben Shemen Youth Village, for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, full year course for all of the classes, boys and girls. Because we see this as life skills. In Israel, I mean, I don't know if it's the same in the States, but in Israel, swimming is mandatory. They teach swimming in all schools because they know swimming prevents drowning. And our goal, and one of the reasons why I sit in the Knesset, is to get them to get that light bulb to go on, which is, if you teach kids how to defend themselves, you will prevent sexual assault. So you have, and bullying, and all of the animals that are there in that big scary world of violence, if they have the tools to deal with them. Can you prevent everything? Absolutely not. Can you reduce? Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So, as I promised, three amazing women, I know I have no question, but there is time that we have to, yeah. I wanted, before I give the microphone, I always need another 1 minute. So, just if I have an audience, why not to talk? So, I promise not to sing. I wanted to thank Sharon Geffen, please, Sharon. Behind this panel, she gave us all the help. She's one of our volunteers. She's the head of the PR and Marketing Committee. She's the chair, and she helped us really to do it well.
Thank you.
First, I want to thank everyone on the panel, Judith, and Adelia, and Leora, and Sigal. Really, you have shown us that one person can make a huge difference. And to all of us here in the room, this is what the Lion of Judah Conference is about. It's about creating bridges. It's about exposing you to new programs. All of their information is up here in the front. You can get their information, you can contact them, but that's what these conferences are about, and we're glad that you are so interested in the topic, so thank you.
Thank you.
Housekeeping. We are proceeding to lunch now on the terrace level in Columbia. For those who are invited to the Reach Higher Luncheon, please go to the International Ballroom on the concourse level. And after lunch, forums will begin promptly at 2 p.m. There are 5 different forums, each touching upon a different hot button issue, and you can see a full list and overview of the forums in your program book. And sessions are first come, first served,
Sharon, let her take a picture.
They're all going to be as fabulous as this one. So thank you.